first time last week about finishing games, your struggles in that area. You feel a lot better about that aspect after how you guys finished yesterday?
Yeah, I feel better about the win. But I think there's, especially after looking at it, there's a lot of things that we're going to have to do a hell of a lot better in order for us to have success, sustained success. Now, you got to give credit to Arizona. I mean, you look at some of the games that they've been, whether it was in San Francisco or Seattle, Indianapolis. I mean, they're having a hell of a year, and they've been right there at the end. So I think they're a hell of a lot better than their record would indicate. To lose, what is it, 5 games now by 13 points, that's pretty incredible.
What are some of those things that are sticking out to you?
It's just the penalties are a real problem, especially the controllables in regards to twice we jumped off sides on a third down, and you could tell the one play where it was third and whatever, 23 or 4, whatever it was. You could tell that Jacoby saw the flag, and he threw one up down the sidelines. So, it's a free play for the offense, and there's no consequence, and we can't put ourselves in that position. Then, offensively, there was still got called for an offsides, illegal formation. Had a silly deal on a screen where we're blocking before the ball's released. I think more than anything else, it's just being on top of the details, so you can go out there and execute at a high level, and we're far from that right now.
Matt, I'm sure you've had numerous conversations with them about this exact thing from week 1 to now. How does your message change? Like, do you have to hit on different things now that you're still kind of seeing those lapses in the fourth quarter, or how does that message change to your guys?
What do you mean lapses in the fourth quarter?
Just like those penalties, the controllables, not being able
Yeah,
to...
those didn't happen in the fourth quarter. Those happened earlier in the game.
Do you still talk to them and change the message?
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely. You're constantly harping and trying to find solutions. Obviously, when things aren't getting corrected, that's a problem, and we got to figure it out. And everybody's got to take it personal. I mean, I know I do as a coach, but each individual, coaches, players, everybody, we got to find solutions. And it always, in my mind, it always starts in practice. That's where you got to see the changes being made, and then you have the confidence that it's going to happen in the game. But yeah, we've got to be super intentional about what we're stressing, and then we got to put guys through situations and make sure that they're doing things the right way.
Now, why is it, I don't want to say easier, but better for coaches to be able to coach hard after a win? Because you've said that before. Like, if you guys lose that game, you still want to get the same things corrected, but it's what kind of approach are you able to take? Because you still found a way to win, even though you're not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, because people are a little bit, I mean, winning can mask a lot of things if you would allow it to. But inevitably, if these things are going to show up down the road, so you got to make sure, whether it's a win or a loss, you still got to correct. There's a lot of things to be corrected. But I think that, yeah, it's just, I don't know, I think just working for Mike Shanahan, that was always when you could be toughest on your team, was after a win. And that's because guys are probably happy and not as down. There's a lot of time, energy, and effort that goes into this thing, and it's natural when you care about something so much and you put everything into it and you don't get the outcome that you want. There's some disappointment there. So not that you turn a blind eye to correcting things, you certainly address, but I do think you can be a little bit more hard when addressing those issues after a win.
Matt, how do you not let this next game get too big? Obviously, with playing Aaron Rodgers again and Sunday Night Football, how do you stress
We're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers, who happen to have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's as simple as that. that is for you guys to talk about. Granted, I mean, we've got a lot of respect and love for Aaron. I mean, what he's done here, I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. And I know, like, our past together, we had a lot of great moments. But this game is not about that. It's about going to Pittsburgh, Sunday Night Football. Our guys will be jacked up. Their guys will be jacked up. It's about the Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's for you guys to talk about all those other storylines.
So if it's for us to talk about, you still have to, do you still address it with your guys with the message you just gave us? Or how do you, because you can't just pretend that it's not happening, right? You don't not mention them at all, do you?
I think a lot of these, I don't even know if many of these guys played with him. So, I mean, there's a few guys, but yeah, I think that's just, yeah, it's for you guys. I'm going to talk about how we, just like we do every week, what is our blueprint and what are our keys in order to go to Pittsburgh, which is a damn good football team and a really tough, hostile environment, and try to play our best. Because we haven't put our best yet to date. So we've got a lot of work to do.
Matt, I know you guys are hoping to get Devontae Wyatt back here at some point, but just what do you think of how Wooden and Brooks are doing on the interior and what they've given you there?
Yeah, those guys have done a lot of great things. I think both of them made some very impactful plays last night.
You know, coaches always talk about having a good problem to have. Is that what you have a kicker right now? How do you view your situation with two guys that can put it through the uprights really consistently?
I'd classify it just as that, a good problem.
Well, then it means it's still a problem, though. So
If you look at it that way, it's really not a problem right now because we've got one healthy kicker and the other guy's, you know, fighting his way back.
So are you inclined to, if it was more inconsistent without Brandon, would you be more inclined to let him push to play, or how does that affect your decision making? The fact that Lucas has been as good as he's been.
Yeah, it's a great luxury, I would tell you. But certainly we've got to feel confident, and Brandon's got to feel confident that he can go out there and perform to the level that is what he's used to performing at. And you know, it's always tough when you're dealing with an injury of a body part that you have to use in order to go out there and have success.
Going back to Rodgers, I'm sorry, but have you seen much of him? Like, whether it's the Thursday game or some crossover tape, have you seen him? Have you got much of a beat on him?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like you're studying that tape. I mean, it might be on while you're working or whatever, but it's not like you're paying a whole lot of attention to it. That's kind of what we're diving into right now.
Matt, Parsons was a little surprised yesterday by the way the Cardinals chose to block him. Do you think that becomes a cautionary tale for future opponents to not give him as many one-on-one opportunities? And how does that change what you guys have to do to get him more opportunities if teams are not going to make that mistake?
I'm just hesitant to answer that question. But yeah, there was moments that it surprised me too, but it is what it is. Bottom line is whoever is getting, somebody's going to get a one-on-one out there, and whoever gets those one-on-ones, they gotta take advantage of them. They gotta win, and we need somebody to win, especially when you're in situations when you're rushing four. Otherwise, you know, the quarterback will be patting the ball all day, taking as many hitches, and inevitably the zone defense will break down and somebody will come open.
With I know you had a lot of expectations on Nate Hobbs, and he gets hurt in training camp, and now he popped up on the injury report on Friday. I guess, what have you thought of him so far? Was he banged up yesterday? And is there some thought to maybe going to give Carrington a shot here?
Yeah, I think here's what I'll tell you about Nate. Nate's a competitive dude that takes a lot of pride in his work. He loves ball, and I think he will rebound, and in the end, he'll be better for it. So, yeah, are there some rough moments? I think that's one of the beauties of this, especially playing that position. You better be resilient. in this league, because there's going to be times when you're going to get beat. It's just, there's some good players on the other side. They did a nice job on some of those situations, but you have to be resilient in order to have success in this league, and that's what I expect from him. He will bounce back.
Matt, one more follow-up with the substitute kicker. After that kickoff return where they got to the 40 and then they got the face mask on top of it, at the end of the game, did you just want Lucas to put him on the 35-yard line? Was it intentional
No.
or not?
No, that was not intentional. I mean, we can't let one play, dictate everything else. I thought our coverage unit, for the most part, was doing a pretty good job. It's just that one, we missed a tackle. Unfortunate, had a face mask penalty, and it is what it is. Sometimes that happens, but that was not the intention there at the end of the game, to kick it into the end zone.
Now, what do you think just with Quay? First off, just what he gave you last night, but just in general, just the way his season's been and how he's been at that spot.
He's had a hell of a year thus far, and I can tell, like, there's been moments where you can see he's a little ginger out there at times, just battling through. I thought he was really impactful yesterday, especially when Half was, sending him on some of those blitzes. I think their backs were having a hard time picking him up, and he's been, to watch his growth from where he was when we first got him to see where he is now it's been an awesome process. Not only as the player, but as the guy in that locker room, as a real leader for us, not only by example, by what he says. Those guys, he's really taken charge and taken a hold of the defense.
Hey, Matt, tell me if this is a flawed premise, but the
Probably is.
Chances are, yes. Is the best leader you ever had as a player during your time here in Mercedes? You think that's fair to say?
I would say he was, one of, if not the,
So
absolutely.
The reason I ask is I know your affinity for him. Is Josh Jacobs catching up with? I mean, he kind of talked you into, it sounds like anyway, letting him play, and then he's asking for and he's not afraid to say the tough things. Like, how is he evolving now in year two as kind of an extension of you in terms of being a leader for this team?
Yeah, he's a grown man. There's no doubt about it. And what he says is always backed up by his actions. And I think that's number one on top of the list of what you need to be in order to be a great leader, is whatever you say and comes out of your mouth, you better back it up. And he certainly does that. And I think he does a great job of just bringing people along with him. Certainly he's not afraid to come and have conversations with me about certain things, and I really appreciate that about him.
So how did that he goes through the workout, I wasn't in Arizona, so he goes through the workout, and how does the conversation go? Is it clear cut that he showed enough to the trainers that or did he have to convince you, or how did it work?
Yeah, so those guys, they took him out there, put him through a pretty extensive workout. It's not like if there was, there's always a risk when you go out there and play. But if there was, a much greater risk of something, like, we wouldn't have put him in that situation. So sometimes you got to protect the player from themselves, and he's one of those guys. He's an unbelievable competitor. But I do think that there is an element where, there's got to be a little bit of trust with certain guys in regards to what they have battled through in their past. And, we tried to limit him a little bit. I think he played, 10 plays or something like that in the first half. Ben did a great job with him because he's so valuable. And certainly, I mean, those runs he made at the end of the game, I don't know if we blocked anybody, but he found a way to get yards and did a hell of a job. We don't win that game without Josh Jacobs. Go ahead, do you got something else?
I do, but I'll wait. I'm fine.
Oh, I was going to ask, what does it say about him? I mean, I don't want to downplay the game, but it's a not division foe. I mean, you got bigger fish to fry. So
well, and those were some of the conversations that we obviously had with him, and be like, hey man, this is a long road in front of us, I'm not ready. I would never want to sacrifice the short term for the long term, and he's a big part of our football team. So you got to be really smart with what you do in that situation.
But just his desire to play, though, what does it say about, again, from his perspective, he probably has the bigger picture in mind, too.
Why he's here. I mean, he's the ultimate competitor.
Matt, you talked yesterday about where you thought the offense was through 6 games. How about the defense? How would you evaluate where the defense is through 6 games?
Probably in the similar bucket as the offense. I feel like there's been some great moments, and then there's things that we absolutely have to clean up. And I think going into the game, we had talked about being really good on third down, and that's what was so disappointing in regards to, I mean, you have them 3rd and 20-something. They get a free play. They throw a bomb, move the sticks. They end up scoring 7 points on that. Then we have them on a 3rd and 15, and we're in a zoning defense, and we're playing press man on one side, and they throw a go ball. And, like, those are the things that get you beat. Like, you cannot have those critical errors because that led to another touchdown. So it's hard to keep people down in this league for 4 quarters. I mean, I don't know what the average scores are in the league in terms of how many points per game, but it's hard to keep people under 20 points in this game, I would say. And our defense, for the most part, has played pretty well. I just think there's another level for us, and that's not to put any pressure on anybody. It's just we feel confident in what we can do, but ultimately you got to go do it. And if you don't, then you got a lot of questions to answer.
2 more, please.
Matt, you've said before that you don't ignore analytics, but you do go with your gut when you feel like you need to. You said you don't win that game without Josh Jacobs. I don't know if you win that game or not if you don't have the guts to go for it on 4th and 2 the way you did. Were you leaning that way, and then you saw the disdain on Jordan's face?
Well, yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, like, there was one thing that just going back and, like, having a chance to really process everything. So it's 3rd and 1, and we called it a crappy call right there with an outside run in a short yardage situation, trying to, we had Jordan shift, make it look like we were going to run a quarterback sneak and run a flip to the outside. And I'm thinking, all right, well, if we get stoned for no yards, we'll just go for it on 4th down. When we went backwards, and I know it was only a yard or whatever, it felt like more than that at the time. That's where there was a little bit of indecision. So you got to make a quick decision right there, what you want to do. In hindsight, just being critical of myself, I wish we would have just gone with the play call, because those timeouts are invaluable, especially late in the game. You got 2 timeouts. You have the 2-minute warning, but at that point when we call the timeout, it's pretty much you're pushing all the chips in the middle of the table, and it's make or break right there. And luckily, our guys did a great job in pass protection on that play, and Tuck did a heck of a job winning his one-on-one, and Jordan made the throw. So they made it right.
So what are those moments like for you? Look, your job consists of a million things, right? That's why they pay you the big bucks. Whether it's keeping the locker room where it needs to be, or game plan, you have so much on your plate. But so many times, it's one decision that maybe is the difference between winning. What are those moments like in a moment for a coach like you?
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of, I don't know, you just got to make a quick decision and live with it. And the whole thing for, I think, all of us, whether you win or lose, it's always about the process. And I'm a big believer that if you get your process right and it's dialed in and it's on point, that you're going to have much greater success or chance at success than if the process is mismanaged. And so I would say that's one thing that we're always trying to be really critical of, is just, are we doing things the right way in the decisions that we make? and it's knowing it's never going to be perfect. But you got to feel good with what you decide.
I was just, I mean, you seem to have a good relationship with Gannon, like, he makes a similar gutsy call on 4th and 1, and they don't get it, and that's the whole conversation, right? Because they're leading by 3, they punt it away, and who knows if they win. It's just interesting to me how everything comes down to sometimes.
That's why it's we are in a results-based league, though, and so with that comes criticism. But I mean, shoot, I probably would have done the same thing if I was him too. I would go for it in that situation. It's 4th and 1. Even though I thought their defense played really well the majority of the game, they made it hard. I mean, they were going to try to limit the explosive plays and really challenge us to be really disciplined and running the football and taking the checkdowns. And there were some times that we did a really good job of that, and there were other times that it wasn't great. So, but they're a good football team. They're much improved, and I said that going into the game, but especially up front. And I think we all felt that.
Do you have any feel for Van Ness? We didn't even see him last week.
In regards to this week? Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I'm not overly optimistic, but we'll see.